In the video where I talked about the no pain, no gain myth and how it really doesn't actually apply to us as ordinary people leading complex, busy lives and trying to fit fitness in, one of the comments caught my attention. And the comment is what you can see on your screens right now. And basically it says that we need a little bit more structure in the way we train, and we need to have goals and sort of goalposts to aim towards. And that comment made me think about the iconic Bruce Lee movie in 1973, which is Enter the Dragon. It helped Bruce Lee break through into the West. It encapsulated a lot of his martial arts and life philosophy. And there's a particular scene there which has always remained with me, where Bruce Lee talks about emotional content. And I know it seems like one of these throwaway remarks until you start thinking about it. And the moment you start thinking about it, you ask yourself, what the heck is emotional content, especially in a martial arts context, or as I want to put it, in a fitness context? Well, as it happens, we have science now, we have studies that show that if we're not in the moment when we train our body, then the efficacy of what we're doing is reduced sometimes by as much as 30%. So we do something, we get almost 30% back because we are physically present, but we're not mentally present. The reason we're not mentally present is obvious. We all lead busy, complex lives. We all have problems to deal with. We all have all sorts of things going on. We're trying to fit fitness in our lives because we know it's important, but then everything else is important too. Our brain can't really switch off. We go and train our body, and instead of compartmentalizing things and saying to ourselves, well, this is me time, this is self-care time, nothing else matters right now, and I'm going to focus on this for me, which is how we should be approaching it. We kind of doing it in a half-baked fashion where we exercise and think about work, think about relationships, think about life, think about our goals, think about, whatever else may be troubling us. And this is wrong. The question, of course, here is, how do we set it right? How do we switch off this dialogue in our head, or this monologue basically, which constantly throws things up at us, which we receive, so that we focus on what we do? And this is where emotional content comes in. Now, essentially what you need to understand is that we're not thinking machines that feel, we are feeling machines that actually think. And this is the big difference. Everything we do, our entire motivation is emotionally driven. Emotions, in a sense, have a chemical or a biochemical and a neurochemical basis, which activates cell structures in our brains and bodies and makes us do things. If we don't really feel something, we can convince ourselves to kind of do it, but we're not going to do it fully, we're not going to commit to it fully, it's not going to be as beneficial for us, and we are unlikely to stick to it. So if you ever said to yourself, oh, I must lose weight, or I must get stronger, or I must get faster, or classic, I must get a six-pack, whatever, right? You started and then you stopped. And the reason you stopped is because your thoughts are okay, but your feelings are not. You're doing it for the wrong reasons, you don't feel it, you don't truly want to motivate yourself because it's not really that important to you, and you can't truly trick yourself into it just by saying it. You need to feel it. That kind of gives us the solution to the problem. And I'll give you an example now. You go into the gym and what do you think to yourself? Oh, I'm tired. First thought. Second, I must exercise. Now, A, I'm tired. This is true for most of us most times. And B, I must exercise. This is a truism we tell ourselves most times. But then you got to think, how should I be feeling about this? How should I be approaching it? What kind of goalposts, what kind of short-term goals can I set and truly get them because they have true meaning for me? Now, you can't tell yourself, you can't trick yourself into saying, oh, what I need is a six-pack abs. Why? Because if that's not truly important to you, it's not strong enough to motivate you. So you get into the gym and tell yourself in the short term, what is it you want to achieve, and also what impact this is going to have on the long term. And I'll give you the example for myself, right? What I want to do, and as I'm getting older, this is really important to me. I don't want to physically age. And I know this is an impossibility, but I also know that what I'm going to do for me is everything possible within reason, which I can do to slow down that process so that I don't actually lose the physical capability, which is part of my identity, which is what I've come to actually like about myself. So this is how I deal with that. So I get into the gym and I have the same distractions you have. I have a messy life. I have all sorts of things going on in my work life. My everyday life kind of thing is as complex as yours. I have as many insecurities as anybody else because this is the way we are. We're really complex and we're never really quite there. And I have to deal with all that, and then I have to go and train. And when I train, I don't think, oh, I've got to look in a particular way. This is a byproduct. I'm not specifically training to be stronger or to be faster, because this is not that important to me right now. But what is important to me right now is to actually be capable. And within that capable, for me, there are certain specific definitions which I have worked out in my life, what it actually means for me. And what I say then is, this is what I'm aiming for long term. And now, this is what I'm going to try to achieve today, which will take me towards that long-term goal. So if you think like this, if you think, okay, what's my long-term goal? Why is it important for me? Why do I really want that long-term goal? It could be picking up your grandchildren or your children as they grow older and heavier, or keeping up with your kids or your nephews, or just enjoying life itself. It's going to be something personal. I can't really give it to you because that would be me imposing my own idea on you, and that would be wrong. It wouldn't really work. But if you work it out for yourself, then the next thing is, okay, if that's the thing I really want to work towards, what are the interim stages? What are the interim steps I need to take to get there? So for me in particular, I focus on mobility, I focus on flexibility, I focus on overall capability. Strength is a component of that. Cardiovascular fitness is a component of that. So on my short term, on a particular day, depending on how long I've got to train for, I will work something out and I'll say, okay, this is what I'm actually working towards now, which will take me to that long distance goal I have. And if you approach it this way, this is what you have done for yourself. First, you've created structure in your training, which confers meaning. If we have structure and we have meaning, then we have purpose. Structure, meaning, and purpose, that's your emotional content. That's your emotional drive. So if you have that, you solved it. I make it sound easy. I've thought long and hard about this. I've shot this video twice trying to get my thoughts out in a coherent and sort of accessible manner. I hope I've succeeded. Let me know in the comments below. I hope this helps you all. Take care out there. See you all next time.